Part 29. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 283. While Qin Ji and Shinano were talking inside, the expressions of everyone outside were very unusual. Because the colorful light pillar soaring into the sky has already revealed the identity of the ship girl Qin Ji summoned at this time. The White Eagle camps standing aside were as dumbfounded as the other four camps. They did not expect that they followed the instructions of the camp and came here to participate in the gathering of the 9 major camps. They originally wanted to benefit their own camp, but they saw the scene that could be called a miracle. Sea Legend, this is a title that only lives in legends. Because since the emergence of ship girls in this world, there have been no sea legends until now. But at this moment, they saw the birth of a maritime legend and the emergence of a miracle. Iron-blooded Prince Yujin, who is the person who built the hall, who summoned the legend of the sea, compared to the shocked White Eagle, everyone in the Northern Alliance was obviously very direct. They walked to the several major camps that were staying together, and Soviet Rosia asked Prince Yujin. A commander from Donghuang. Prince Yujin looked at Soviet Rosia and said, her eyes turned to Aurora beside Soviet Rosia, Abe should know who that commander is. Me, Aurora said hesitantly, is it Qin Ji? Do you think there is anyone else who could cause such a miracle besides him? Prince Yujin said meaningfully. It's actually him. Soviet Rosia looked at Aurora in surprise. Comrade Aurora was still mentioning him before, but I didn't expect that he would summon the legend of the sea in the blink of an eye. If it's Qin Ji, then I won't be so surprised that he summoned the legend of the sea. Aurora looked at the construction hall where the light gradually dissipated, because there are so many miracles that appeared on him, made me a little numb. Oh, I would like to meet Commander Qin Ji, and I also want to meet the legend of the sea. What's so great about him? At this time, a voice interrupted the conversation between several people. Everyone turned to look and saw Washington and North Carolina walking over together. And listening to the somewhat cold voice before, it was obvious that it could not be North Carolina with a smile, but Washington with an expressionless face. How come you, White Eagle, are also interested in this? Prince Yujin said. Haha, Prince Yujin is joking. After all, this is a maritime legend, something we have never seen before. No matter which camp they are in, they will be interested, right? North Carolina said with a smile. Yes, this is a legend of the sea. No matter which camp summoned it, it is the combat power of our Azalaine. Joan of Arc walked up and looked at the ship girls and said. However, she still paid attention to Qin Ji's ship girls standing together, because there was also a ship of the same position as her. But it's not a big deal that we are standing here now, right? Why don't you go in now? Algeria from the Vichy Vatican also came over and said to the crowd. The power on the sacred tree has not dissipated yet. When Commander Qin Ji's ship girls tried to enter, they were ejected by the power Xiang, he said on the side. This is the protection mechanism of the godly tree, but now this power is gradually weakening. It seems that we will be able to enter the construction hall after a while, Nagato said, looking at the godly tree. But I am a little worried. The colorful light just shone so high that the entire Chongying Island can see the light pillars. Therefore, I think not only us, but even the sirens of this world should know that a sea legend was born here in Chongsakura. Nagato's words instantly gave everyone a wake-up call, because the light just shot so high that it broke through the clouds and went straight into the sky. And under such a situation, it is impossible for Siren not to notice something strange here on Chongying Island. If Chongying is attacked because of this matter, we at Donghuang are willing to assist Chongying to resist the Siren's attack, Enshin said to Nagato on the side. After all, the one who summoned the sea legend this time was the commander of his own camp, so the one who benefited the most this time was Donghuang. And if Chongying wants to take the blame for his own camp, obviously as a beneficiary, he cannot stand idly by. Therefore, instead of letting others bring it up, it is better to take the initiative yourself, so as to gain some favor. Sure enough, Anshan's words made several of Chongying's ship girls very happy, and they all expressed their gratitude to Anshan. At this moment, visible to the naked eye, the energy previously gathered on the godly tree gradually dissipated, and the entire godly tree returned to calm again. Everyone looked at each other, and Qin Ji's ship girls were the first to move, because their commander was inside, and they still didn't know what Qin Ji's current situation was. So everyone crossed the street and entered the construction hall without encountering any obstacles. He saw Qin Ji standing there intact, and in front of him was a beauty with fox ears. "Commander," Huang Hui walked towards Qin Ji worriedly and called Qin Ji's name. At this time, Qin Ji turned his head and looked at his ship girls who had arrived, as well as the senior leaders of the major camps who were following behind his ship girls. He smiled and waved to them. "I'm fine. There's nothing to worry about. It scared us to death just now. After we went out, we found that the energy of the godly tree was rioting, and we were isolated outside, and we couldn't get in no matter what," Huang Hui explained. Then her eyes turned to the ship girl beside Qin Ji who she had never seen before. "Is this the commander, the newly summoned sister?" Qin Ji nodded and said to everyone under the gaze of everyone, "This is the ship girl I summoned, the number 3 Yamato-class ship, Shinano. Sure enough, it's you. Just now when I was outside, I heard the joy of Goshinmyo." Nagato looked at Shinano and said, "Nagato-sama, long time no see." Shinano bowed his head to Nagato to show respect. Yes, Nagato nodded, and then looked at Qin Ji next to Shinano with complicated eyes. Commander Qin Ji really had an incomprehensible relationship with Shigesakura. Not only was he summoned the sea legend Shinano who had never appeared before, but don't forget that he also summoned Shigesakura's military advisor Magi before. The others were looking at Shinano standing next to Qin Ji with solemn expressions on their faces. Because there were no maritime legends in this world before, the situation of the major camps was like that. Now that there are maritime legends, the situation of each camp represented will change. And this was the first thing everyone thought of when they saw Shinano. The power contained within her shocked everyone. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 284. At this time, in the remote Pacific Ocean, in a mysterious deep-sea stronghold, a pale girl with long ears looked at the screen in front of her and made a sound of surprise. Although she looks very cute, her mount obviously ruins the beauty, because she is sitting on an octopus. Her movements seemed extremely weird, and combined with her playful voice, it made people panic. Beside the girl, there was a very plump-looking woman. However, there was a sinister look on her face, and this look made her originally beautiful face look a bit uncoordinated. "Haha, Tester, I remember that our plan in this world does not have such a plan, right?" the girl said to the woman on the side. Obviously, the woman's name is Tester, which sounds a weird code name. Yes, according to the purpose of our experiment, at most there will only be ultra-rare class ship girls in this world. And according to the course of history, many ship girls are defective and impossible to appear in this world, the Tester said to the girl. But what is the situation now? The girl smiled and looked at the screen. And the picture on the screen was clearly that of Chongying Island. At this time, above Chongying Island, a colorful beam of light rose into the sky and dispersed the clouds. It looked particularly spectacular. Something outside of the experiment has appeared. Do you think it is necessary to report this situation to Dreamweaver? The Tester said while looking at the screen. Tell Dreamweaver, what can we do? Could it be that the arbitration agency was dispatched to destroy this test site? The girl smiled. Why have we traveled through so many worlds and entered so many time nodes? Don't you know? Now that variables appear here, we must pay more attention here. Our purpose is to find variables, not to strangle variables in the cradle. If the variables in this world grow well, then she is likely to grow into a key. Isn't this our hope? No, I am worried that if there is a variable here, Those people from Ember will enter here. The tester shook his head and said. Embers? Those people who refuse to give up? Do they think they can save the world with the ashes of the torch? The girl couldn't help but laugh. They can't even get out of their own prison, so how can they save the world? Then what kind of experimental plan should we do now? The tester looked at the girl and said. Hee, didn't the purifier say that she is bored recently? Let her go to Chongying Island and tell the people of the 9 camps that in fact, we have always seen what they do. The girl. Speaking of. Then if they obtain the sea legend this time, will it conflict with our test ship plan? The tester asked. No, I think it matches very well. The girl smiled. Don't you think you were a little calmer before? Everything is going according to our plan, but don't you look forward to this unknown future now? Tester. I'm tired of a future where we already know the outcome. Maybe this time, the world will really surprise us. After the tester finished speaking, he took a deep look at the girl, turned around and left. The girl turned her head back to the screen, looked at the disappearing beam of light, and said with a smile, haha, it's another little animal. I really hope the purifier will go over and don't mess with them. On the other hand, Nagato obviously didn't want the news of Shinano's appearance to spread too widely. After all, Shinano is now Qin-Ji's ship girl, and if such a thing is known to the people of Chongqing, some of their beliefs will collapse. The only maritime legend in the world is Chongying's ship girl. This was originally an exciting thing, but now he is the ship girl of a commander in Donghuang, which makes people feel a little uncomfortable. No more. Several major camps also tacitly chose to conceal this matter. After all, it would not be very beneficial to their camps if this matter spread. However, everyone knows that this matter can only be concealed for a while, not forever, because the legend of the sea will eventually reveal her grace and lead Azalane to victory. Therefore, after everyone left the construction hall under the imperial tree, they all returned to their respective hotels. After learning all this, they thought they could only work on Qin-Ji this time, because the killing weapon Dong Huang offered was really powerless. And this kind of thing is a good thing for the 5 camps. The Iron Blood and Sardinian Empire got involved with Qin-Ji because their camp's flagship was summoned by Qin-Ji. As for the royal family, it's even simpler. The Prince of Wales was Qin-Ji's dean. Judging from Qin-Ji's appearance, he was still very convinced of the Prince of Wales, so the relationship between the two was even easier to say. Moreover, the direct observers of the royal family, George V. and Hood, were very optimistic about Qin-Ji, so naturally there would be no worries. Let's talk about the Chongying camp. The sea legend summoned this time is the ship girl of this camp, so it is even more impossible for them to have a bad relationship with Qin-Ji. For them, Qin-Ji is now more than just a commander of Donghuang. And an identity that is more important and valued to them is that of the commander of Qin-Ji's Azalane. Because Qin-Ji is the commander of Azalane, it is natural for Chongying to support him as a member of Azalane. So with the help of these relationships, Qin-Ji had just returned to the hotel with his ship girl. Before he could sit down, the iron-blooded Prince Eugen came here again. But this time she didn't come with the iron-blooded people, but by herself. Qin-Ji was also very surprised when he saw her, because he did not expect Prince Eugen's arrival. It seems that you are very surprised by my arrival, Commander Qin-Ji. The iron-blooded Prince Eugen said to Qin-Ji. I'm a little surprised. After all, we just separated under the royal god tree. Could it be that Prince Eugen has something going on here? Qin-Ji asked with some confusion, but there was still a hint of respect between the lines. After all, Prince Eugen the Prince is the iron-blooded second in command. I promised before that if you can summon a ship girl, Iron Blood will be responsible for the growth materials and equipment of this ship girl, so I am here to fulfill my promise. Prince Eugen finished with a smile. He took out 4 aircraft and 2 catapult devices from his ship's installation space. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Hwangming Muji. Chapter 285. Hey, Prince Eugen, why did you bring 4 planes? Qin Ji said strangely. Of course, I have brought you all the main models of our iron-blooded aircraft, as well as the models newly developed by current scientific research. Let's take a look at the parameters of the carrier-based aircraft first, Prince Eugen said with a smile. Qing Gao took over the 4 planes from Prince Eugen and began to look at them one by one. The Mi-155, a carrier-based fighter, is actually T3 level equipment with a strength +10, Qin Ji said with some surprise. Of course, the enhancement level must be taken into consideration when providing you with equipment, so these pieces of equipment are all enhanced. Before recommending them, I promised you that I would provide you with supplies for the ship girls you built. Although she is not a ship girl from the Iron Blood camp, it would be an honor for Iron Blood if she could provide ship uniforms for the only legendary aircraft carrier girl on the sea that exists in the world. Prince Eugen said with a smile. Qin Ji nodded, smiled, and said to Prince Eugen, since the prince and I have said this, it will be unreasonable for me to refuse. Then Qin Ji, amidst Prince Eugen's smile, picked up the plane he just held and began to check it again. The standard rate of fire is 9.24 seconds per round, which increases the aviation value of the ship. It is also equipped with 3 MG 150 120mm cannons and 2 MG 130 113mm cannons. Well, this is a very powerful anti-aircraft carrier-based aircraft. Qin Ji nodded, then put it down and picked up another carrier-based aircraft. The prototype carrier-based BF-109 GT-0 fighter has a standard firing rate of 10.58 seconds per round and is equipped with 1 MG 150 120mm cannon, 2 7.92mm MG-17 machine guns, and 4 armor-piercing rockets. Well, this is a very powerful attack-type anti-ship fighter, so this carrier-based aircraft will be equipped for Shinano. Qin Ji nodded and said. After all, the sea legend means that the damage caused by the carrier-based aircraft she can carry is higher, so it is natural to give Shinano better equipment. The Ju-87D-4 torpedo machine has a standard rate of fire of 11.17 seconds per round. It is equipped with 3 7.92mm MG machine guns and 3 airborne torpedoes. The torpedo speed is 3, and it is a cluster mine. This torpedo aircraft is suitable for dealing with battleships and heavy aircraft carriers in large fleets. They move slowly and have a very good hit rate. Qin Ji nodded and said. When he picked up the last carrier-based aircraft, he looked at Prince Eugen in surprise. Prince Eugen, didn't you say it was iron-blooded scientific research equipment? Why is there a White Eagle SB-2C in it? Prince Eugen said helplessly, because our Iron Blood's current research on bombers has not yet produced results. Iron Blood's currently active bomber, the Ju-87C dive bomber, has poor performance, so we did not bring it to you. As for why we chose White Eagle's SB-2C, it's because it is the bomber we have tested that can cause the largest amount of damage and damage range among the bombers currently in service. No matter what kind of equipment, as long as it is easy to use, it can be said that what I bring to you are relatively strong equipment in each area. I hope they can bring help to your ship girl. Qin Ji nodded, put away the 4 carrier-based aircraft and 2 ejection devices, and thanked Prince Eugen. Sorry for your trouble. It doesn't matter, we Iron Blood also hope to have a better relationship with Commander Qin Ji, so I think it is worth paying some price. We smart people don't speak secretly. Commander Qin Ji is also a smart person, so he must be able to understand what I mean. Prince Eugen laughed. Qin Ji smiled. I once heard a saying that both parties who cooperate sincerely will find the other party profitable. When I was a child, I heard that people shouldn't be like that, but as I grow older, I think this sentence is right. Because only with the same interests can we be long-term friends. Commander Qin Ji is indeed very smart, so I will stay here soon. I believe your place will be busier before the competition day. But aside from being an iron-blooded person, I still hope that you can have a good relationship with the major camps, because you represent a new faction of power, and you are an existence that all major camps must strive for. You can't offend some camps because of your own preferences. I think you should understand this. Prince Eugen said. Well, thank you, Prince Eugen, for the reminder. Let me see you off, Qin Ji said, and he and Prince Eugen stood up from the reception area, ready to see her off. But Prince Eugen smiled and shook his head. There is no need to give it away. It will be very unusual if you give it away again. Well, I won't go out. Although Qin Ji said this, he still sent the Wenking King to the door of the hotel. After watching her go away, he turned around and returned to the hotel where he was staying. Instead of staying in the hall longer, he went directly upstairs and returned to his room. As soon as he opened the door of his room, he saw his ship girls standing, sitting or lying in his room. As soon as everyone saw Qin Ji's return, they couldn't help but stand up. Except for Shinano, who had been lying on the bed and sleeping, they all said to Qin Ji in unison, "Commander." Yes, Qin Ji nodded, sat on a chair nearby and looked at everyone. Is my fellow ship gone? Prince Eugen of Qin Ji stood up and said to him with a smile. Let's go. Qin Ji took a sip of the water Belfast poured for him and said to Prince Eugen. I guess she should have expressed her kindness to you very obviously, right? Prince Eugen smiled. That's right, and she also brought over 4 carrier-based aircraft and 2 catapult devices. In short, Shinano's ship equipment is available, Qin Ji said. Haha, I originally thought that the Lord relied on his luck and strength to gain recognition from the major camps this time. But God is not as good as man. I didn't expect that the Lord could summon Shinano. So with her here, the major camps would have to repay their expectations and build a good relationship with the commander. Magi smiled. After Tiancheng finished speaking, Qin Ji cast his eyes on the big fox curled up on his bed. Looking at Shinano sleeping soundly there, Qin Ji coughed slightly. Because the strapless Maiko costume is really too low cut, so when I look at it from this angle, I see 2 lumps of white flesh. So Qin Ji was chanting look no evil in his heart, but as if nothing happened, he turned his head and said to everyone, indeed, I didn't expect that I would summon Shinano here. Maybe I think it has something to do with the godly tree, Tiancheng said thoughtfully. After all, the godly tree has very magical energy, and when this energy is combined with the Lord's luck, there will be miracles occur. And when Shinano came to this world, didn't Makamagi also have a very big reaction? My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 286. Indeed, maybe the commander was not outside at the time, so the feeling was not very clear. But all of us were outside, so we could see very clearly what happened at that time, Guanghui said. Arrive. But what I didn't expect is that Shinano, as a legend of the sea, has a somewhat lethargic and lazy personality. I smiled and looked at Shinano sleeping on the bed and said to everyone. I don't think we are happy now, because miracles are always accompanied by danger, and this time it is especially important. Bismarck leaned against the wall and said to Qin Ji. Hearing what Bismarck said, Qin Ji couldn't help but nodded. The light before was so spectacular that the entire Chongying Island saw that colorful light. Although Nagato sent the message, it was her who cast the spell under the sacred tree. However, this can only hide the people on Chongying Island, but if you want to hide it from the sirens at sea, you can't. After Qin Ji finished speaking, the other ship girls nodded. Because they were all outside, they saw the height of the colorful light rising. It can be said that it shoots straight into the sky, just as Qin Ji said, it is extremely spectacular, and under such a spectacular light, it is difficult not to be noticed. Just as everyone was sighing, the front line of the Chongying camp seemed to be in chaos. What? The blonde-haired ship girl stood up from her desk and looked at the report from the ship girl opposite her in surprise. How is it possible? The Eastern Defense Line is our strongest line of defense, and ISE and Hinata are still there. How could it be so easily broken through by the sirens? Sister King Kong, calm down, a woman with brown hair and a suit said. How can you tell me to calm down? Harina, tear through the Eastern Defense Line directly, and that is the closest place to Chongsakura Island. Obviously, the purpose of the siren this time is to Chongsakura Island. King Kong looked at the chart in front of him and said the sister on the side. But even though you are anxious now, it can't change the fact. Because that siren is different from the sirens we have encountered before. She should be the high-level siren humanoid that the command department mentioned before, Harina said to King Kong. Is it one level higher than those executors? King Kong calmed down and said to his sister. Yes, Harina nodded. According to the news from the Eastern Defense Line, the high-level siren humanoids that appeared this time are not at all the type of executors we have encountered before. They are not mass-produced. Moreover, according to the images from the Eastern Theater, ISE and Hinata fought with the senior siren humanoid for only a few moves before being easily broken through by the opponent. According to the news, the siren high-level humanoid calls himself the Purifier and has the ability to think and communicate independently. And her rank is at least the same as the testers who appeared before, and she is better at fighting than the testers. Like the tester, the Purifier also has a very strange ship suit that resembles a deep-sea creature, which can be inferred to be a grooveless hammerhead shark based on the prototype. Hey, is it similar to the manta ray type ship suit of the tester? King Kong couldn't help but spat. Did you report it to the main island headquarters? Harina nodded. Kirishima has gone, I hope it's not too late. Harina, go inform all the awakening ship girls and quickly go to the main island for support. This time, the purpose of the siren named Purifier is very clear. He is going straight to the main island. Although there are many awakened ship girls on the main island, it should be the time when the 9 major camps gather on the main island for a meeting, right? We, Chongying, cannot let other camps look down upon us. King Kong said. What about the front line defense? What if there is another siren tide at this time? Harina asked with some concern. How could there be a siren tide now? A high-level siren humanoid has broken through the defense line and entered our rear. She is much more powerful than the siren tide, King Kong said. So do you think there's no need to send cannon fodder over to die for the sirens? Understood, Sister Congo, Harina said, then turned around and walked out of the office to carry out Congo's order. King Kong walked out of the desk, picked up the clothes hanging on the hangers, and walked out very heroically. Following the notification from the front line, Chongsakura Island, located in the rear, also received news from the front line, and the news reached Akagi and Kaga very quickly. Because Qin has recently checked into a hotel in Dunhuang, Akagi and Kaga, as the leaders of Chongying, are no longer suitable to visit their sisters, so they have been staying at the headquarters recently. Sister, what do you think? Kaga frowned and looked at Akagi aside. How else can we see it? Akagi chuckled. Riding alone, he rushed straight into the enemy camp without any support behind him. This clearly shows that the sirens want to tell us that they already know the situation here and have sent a high-level siren is just giving us a heads up. Huh, Kaga was shocked and looked at Akagi sitting down again. Are you surprised? Akagi said with a smile, you and I have traded with them so many times, do you think they are stupid people? No. Even if we take advantage, they will take advantage unknowingly. Kaga looked confused, remembering the person from before. So, what do you think is the purpose of a high-level siren humanoid who broke into the rear of a group of dozens or even hundreds of awakened ship girls? Akagi narrowed his eyes. It seems that the appearance of Shinano broke their plan, so they are now starting to prepare to slowly show their fangs. Then what should we do now? Kaga asked. Pack up, let's go to the shrine and meet Lord Nagato, Akage said. No matter what, this time, in front of the other 8 camps, we must win again, and we must win beautifully. What about the other commanders' large fleets? Kaga asked. Akage was stunned for a moment, then laughed. Kaga, why do you care about the weak people you often talked about before? Jiahe's face turned red. Maybe it's because I've spent a lot of time with Commander Shinji during this period, so I subconsciously thought that other commanders were like him, right? Oh, that person is an exception, but there is only one exception in this world, so you cannot use exceptions to treat other people, Akage said, and this time, the battle is not something they can participate in. That is the Siren Advanced Doll. Not an ordinary executor. Yes, I understand, sister, Kagami nodded. So the two of them walked out of the headquarters and walked directly towards the shrine. The ship girls who were going back and forth couldn't help but be startled when they saw Akage Kaga, because they actually smelled a hint of fighting spirit from the two of them. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 287. The Siren's reaction is so fast. It seems that they have been monitoring our sea area, otherwise they would not have reacted so quickly. As soon as a miracle happened, Nagato knelt in the center of the shrine and faced Akage. Kaga said in front of him. Akage nodded, but I think this time the Siren is more of a demonstration than an attack. Because according to frontline reports, only one high-level Siren humanoid came this time, and there was no Siren fleet around her. I think it was Shinano's appearance that, although it broke their layout, it did not disrupt their plans. Such a big battle this time is to tell us that even if the Legend of the Sea is summoned, it will not have much impact on their plan. Because if they really want to get rid of Shinano, they won't directly attack our Chongsakura Island with such a huge momentum. Instead, they will wait until Shinji is on his way back and inadvertently dispatch to kill Shinano, who has not yet grown up. Killing in the cradle. After listening to Akage's analysis, Nagato couldn't help but nodded. Although Akage, what you said is right, we cannot take it lightly this time when the Sirens attack us. Because the other 8 major camps are also here, they will definitely watch us deal with this attack, so this time we must show the strongest posture of Sakura. We understand. Judging from the time reported by the front line and the speed of the Siren, it shouldn't take long to reach Chongsakura Island. So we will prepare next, and hope that Lord Chinman, as the flagship of Chongsakura, can serve as the general flagship of this attack. Akage said to Nagato. This is my duty. Even if Akage doesn't say anything, I will attack as the chief flagship this time. Nagato nodded and said. Then this is best. Akage nodded, and after standing up with Kaga, he said to Nagato, Kaga and I will make arrangements now, and I will also ask Mikasa-sama to participate in this time. Fighting. I understand. Nagato nodded, then turned around and began to pray to the gods. Akage Kaga walked out of the shrine. Akage glanced at the shrine behind him and said to Kaga, Kaga, you are responsible for informing other awakened ship girls, and let the unawakened ship girls do the same. Be prepared in case something unexpected happens. What about you, sister? Kagami asked. Akage looked at the cherry blossoms falling one after another in front of him, and stretched out his hand to catch one petal. I'll go to Donghuang's place, inform Mikasa-sama, and take a look at my sister by the way. Understood. Kaga nodded and quickly disappeared next to Akage. Akage dropped the petal in his hand and disappeared. Isn't it that when Kagami was busy contacting other awakened ship girls on Chongsakura Island, Akage appeared in Donghuang's reception hotel? Is the action so fast this time? It's no less than the last time the Northern Alliance discovered that illusory city. Mikasa couldn't help but sigh after hearing Akage's story. I've made you tired. Shinji looked at Shikung and said with some embarrassment. After all, the reason why the Siren attacked this time was because he summoned Shinano, so Shiji Sakura needed to be a shield this time. he was deeply sorry for such a thing. It doesn't matter, because this situation was not your intention. What's more, Commander Qin-ji, what you summoned this time is our Chongying Sea legend. As the Chongying camp, we should thank you, Akage smiled said. Then if you need help this time, please don't be polite, Master Shikong, Qin-ji said to Shikong. Yes, and this task belongs to Commander Qin-ji, Shikong said to Qin-ji. Oh? What are you busy with? Qin-ji asked quickly when he saw Shikong say without hesitation. The general flagship of this attack is Nagato-sama, so Mikasa-sama needs to go to help, and my sister and Shinano are also needed to join, Akage said to Qin-ji. You can just talk to her directly about Mikasa-senpai. However, Magi and Shinano's training levels are quite low. Can they really help in this battle? Qin-ji asked doubtfully. My sister is Chongying's military advisor, so her most powerful thing is not her strength, but her strategy, Akage said to Qin-ji. In addition, as a legend of the sea, Shinano must be different from other ship girls, so I believe she will surprise us, Akage said to Qin-ji. Understood, Qin-ji nodded. I will go and inform them both immediately, and then head to the dock with Senior Mikasa. Then I'll trouble Commander Qin-ji. Akage smiled slightly, then said goodbye to Qin-ji and Mikasa, and left the hotel where Dong Huang was. Mikasa asked Qin-ji to inform her ship girl first, while she waited for them at the hotel door. So Qin-ji quickly came to the floor where his ship girls were, summoned all the ship girls, and told them about the Siren's attack. So fast? It seems that every move of the major camps is under the surveillance of the Siren. It is similar to the assumption made by the commander before. I wonder what the Siren wants to do, Prince Eugen said. Arrive. Now is not the time to discuss what they want to do, but to deal with this Siren attack first, Qin-ji said. I value Sakura's preparation this time because I want to combine all the awakened ship girls to defend against the enemy. Isn't this natural? This is the main island of Chongying. The enemies are coming to the doorstep. If Chongying doesn't respond, he will be looked down upon by other camps, Veneto said with a smile. I originally wanted to show off my skills this time, but it seems that we have nothing to do for the time being, Guanghui said with some regret. Qin-ji smiled. The battlefield that belongs to us is not here, but the frontline battlefield a year from now. This time Shiji Sakura only asked Magi and Shinano to fight, and I guess I was only responsible for doing some strategic things. They won't be allowed to fight in real battles. Understood, Commander, Guanghui smiled, but will you come too? Qin-ji nodded. Magi and Shinano are my ship girls. My ship girls are going to war now, how can I not follow them? As for you, you don't need to follow me, just follow Anshan and the others and Dean Prince of Wales. I guess since Chongying's side has made such a big move, other camps will definitely know about it soon, so you can also see the battlefield by then. Understood. All the ship girls nodded, knowing that now is not the time to cause trouble to Qin-ji. This battle is obviously not theirs, and they are quite relieved about Qin-ji's safety. If so many awakened ship girls in Chongying cannot protect Qin-ji's safety, then the destruction of mankind is doomed. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 288. After Qin-ji finished explaining to his ship girl, he took Magi and Shinano to the door of the hotel. After meeting Mikasa, who was waiting there, they walked together towards the place Akage mentioned before. On the way to the port, several people clearly felt that something was wrong around them. Everyone's face looked as if a powerful enemy was approaching, and they looked very serious. Moreover, the shops were closed and the streets seemed very deserted. So the few people didn't delay and quickly went to the place, Akage said. When we arrived at the port, we found that there were already many people waiting here. Moreover, most of the people in the crowd were ship girls, and there were only a few humans. Looking at the military ranks on their shoulders, they were all at the level of lieutenant general and admiral. Qin Ji could also guess that they were most likely from Chongying Command. Obviously, Qin Ji's arrival also surprised the top human beings. Because they could see from Qin Ji's cap badge that this commander clearly belonged to Dong Huang, and his military rank was still a captain-level commander. How could he be on the front line of this battlefield? So just when one person was about to go and ask Qin Ji to go away, he unexpectedly discovered that Akage, Kaga, and Xianghe Ziwei were all coming to greet him. If you can trouble these guys to take action, the commander should be the representative sent by Dong Huang this time, right? One of the Chongying executives said. But with the tempers of those people, will there be an uncontrollable situation? It has nothing to do with us. We are just here to record data. Makes sense. Just as several Chongying senior executives were muttering, a scene that surprised them appeared. I saw the few people in their mouths talking to Qin Ji in a pleasant manner, without any of the harshness towards them. Sister Sama, you are here, Akage said to Magi. How could I not come, and I also want to see what kind of strength that siren high-level humanoid has, Magi said with a smile. You should be able to see it soon. According to the reports from Frontline Konggang and others, they are now on their way to Chongsakura Island, Kaga said. But what I'm curious about is, why are you here, Commander Qin Ji? Ziwei asked curiously. Didn't Akage-senpai only recruit Mikasa-senpai, Shinano, and Amagi-senpai? Qin Ji smiled and said, Amagi and Shinano are both my ship girls. How can there be any reason for the ship girls to join the battle and the commander not to join the war? So I came. Haha, maybe Commander Qin Ji's help will be needed later, but before that, Commander Qin Ji please stay in this formation, Akage said with a smile. Of course, Qin Ji nodded and said. After a few people talked for a while, they began to walk towards the main formation ahead. And Nagato stood in front of the main formation, with Rokuo and Fuzuyamashiro standing beside him. The arrival of Qin Ji and others was noticed by Changman and others, but just when they wanted to speak, a figure ran over quickly, a girl with black hair and dog ears. Nagato-sama, we found the enemy's location, the girl ship girl said. Well, Shiger, thank you for your hard work. How far is the enemy from our formation? Nagato asked. We'll be there in about 20 minutes, the Kanjia girl known as Shiger said to Nagato. I understand. Nagato nodded to Shiger, then turned to Qin Ji and others who came to the side and said, this time is originally our own war, Shichsakura, but we still have to trouble a few people. I'm really sorry to help you. It doesn't matter, Nagato-sama, we are all Shichsakura's ship girls, but now we are just following our master. And this time it was also our fault that Chongying was attacked by the sirens. It is reasonable for us to help. Amagi smiled. Yes, Nagato nodded, then looked at Mikasa. Mikasa-senpai, please look forward to my fight. No, this time we should fight side by side, Mikasa said. Yes, Nagato had a happy expression on his face, so he turned his head and spoke to the ship girls around him. I am ordering the flagship of the Chongsakura Combined Fleet, the Combined Fleet, to attack. Yes. The thunderous voice came from the port, and every ship girl who was heavy on the cherry blossoms was very excited. Taking advantage of this moment, Qin Ji also saw clearly the ship girls gathered here. In addition to the 4 battleships Nagato Mutsu and Fusuyama Castle, there is also the Ki-class battleship Ki. In terms of heavy cruisers, Furutaka-class heavy cruisers, Furutaka and Keiko. Aoba-class heavy cruisers, Aoba and Kinyagaza. As well as Magama, Mikuma, Suzuya, and Kumino. There were also Takao-class heavy cruisers, Takao, Atago, and Maya, but Jokai was not seen. In terms of light cruisers, The Nagara-class light cruisers, Nagara, Isuzu, Ura, Kainu, and Avyukuma are impressively listed. There are also Kawachi-class light cruisers, Kawachi, Avatar, and Naka. And the Agano-class light cruisers, Agano and Nashiro. In terms of destroyers, there are Kamikaze-class destroyers, Mutsuki-class destroyers, Fubuki-class destroyers, Akatsuki-class destroyers, Uiru-class destroyers, Shiro-class destroyers, Asashio-class destroyers, Keijiro-class destroyers, Yugamo-class destroyers, and Akizuki-class destroyers. However, Qin-ge discovered a problem, that is, most of Chongying's destroyers were little girls. Moreover, they don't look like junior high school students like Javelin, but they look like elementary school students and kindergartners. As for the aircraft carrier, there is no need to say much about the first aviation battle, the second aviation battle, and the fifth aviation battle. There are also a series of light aircraft carriers including Hasho, Ryajo, Ryaho, Shaho, Flying Eagle, Hayabusa, Chitose, and Chiyoda. And under the pier not far away, several submarines were in place at any time. When Qin-ge looked over, he found that there were 7 submarines there, namely Y-19, Y-25, Y-26, Y-56, Y-58, and Y-168 and I-13. Seeing so many ship girls, Qin-ge couldn't help but sigh. Sure enough, Chongying's maritime power was still very powerful, and it was indeed a camp that could compete head-on with White Eagle at that time. Compared with Donghuang at this time, Donghuang is somewhat stretched in this regard. But fortunately, in this world now, even in Donghuang, the awakened ship girls in the camp are not weaker than Chongying. As Nagato's order was issued, a group of ship girls quickly walked to the dock and jumped into the sea one after another. Blue rays of light flashed across the ship's attire and appeared on them, quickly sliding away on the sea and forming a formation. Nagato watched the ship girls jumping into the sea one after another, then turned to Akage beside him. "Akage, please help me." Akage smiled and nodded. "Nagato-sama, this is Akage's honor." "Well, let's go then," Nagato nodded, and walked to the dock with his sisters and others. As for Qin-ge, he, Amagi and Shinano, under the leadership of Kaga, boarded the command ship that had been prepared. The smoke of war has already begun to spread on the sea. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu-ge. Chapter 289. There were no other ship girls on the command ship that Qin-ge was on, only him, Amagi and Shinano. The command ship is equipped with a remote intercom device and image projection device, so the scene of the subsequent battle can be clearly seen. On the command ship, Qin-ge drove the ship and followed the ship girl in front from a distance. Because the 3 of them would not be able to provide firepower assistance in the subsequent battlefield, they could only give some opinions and suggestions to the ship girl in front through the intercom. If the situation is urgent, the command ship can also serve as a temporary rescue facility. At this time, the phalanx formation adopted by the Chongsakura camp ship girls was the will formation used when escorting a large fleet. So at this time, the destroyers are on the outermost side, the light cruisers are on the inner side, and the heavy cruisers, battleships, aircraft carriers, and other heavy firepower are all on the innermost side. The one in the middle of the axis is naturally Nagato, Kongsakura's flagship. About 10 minutes after Qin-ge and the others left the shore, finally, the fighter jet at the front spotted a figure appearing on the sea. And that figure, as mentioned in the front line report, was wearing a shark suit. And a white-haired girl with a single ponytail was riding on a shark sword suit, quickly heading towards the position of the Chongqing Sakura fleet. And when the sound of the plane's engine sounded over the girl's head, the white-haired girl with a single ponytail glanced at the carrier-based aircraft in the air, showed a crazy smile, and then accelerated her speed and flew towards the aircraft. "Drive quickly in the direction you came from." Discovered, position 175, 40 kilometers away, a high-level siren humanoid is coming. She looks the same as King Kong reported from the front line. She is riding a shark ship suit. Akagi on the side turned to face Nagato said. And because all ship girls are currently equipped with communication devices, Akagi's words also reached the ears of other ship girls. Nagato nodded and said, stop the march and deploy a defensive posture. Yes. A neat shout came from the sea, and all the ship girls who were moving forward stopped their sliding movements at the same time, stopped their bodies, and switched to a defensive formation, staring closely at Akagi's report. Position, looking ready to fight. Akagi, has that siren discovered your fighter jet? Nagato asked Akagi. Akagi frowned and said, yes, she discovered my carrier-based aircraft and accelerated straight towards here. It seems that the other party is confident, Mikasa said next to Nagato. Mikasa-senpai, do you have any suggestions? Nagato said to Mikasa. That siren looks so confident and fearless. It's obvious that he doesn't take Akagi into his heart, or even our Chongzakura combined fleet. So this time, it must be a tough battle. I suggest that the unawakened ship girls retreat slightly and provide fire support from the rear, while our awakened ship girls push forward. In this way, we can also understand the strength of this high-level siren humanoid, and at the same time, we can avoid unnecessary damage caused by misestimating the opponent's strength. Mikasa said to Nagato. Nagato nodded, I thought so too before. How about letting them retreat to protect Commander Shinji? This is better, Mikasa nodded. So Nagato ordered, combined fleet, all awakened people stay and prepare for the next battle. Those who are not awakened should retreat back to protect Commander Shinji's command ship and provide corresponding fire support when needed. Yes. Although he was a little reluctant, on the battlefield, the Commander-in-Chief's orders must be obeyed. As a result, many unawakened ship girls retreated in an orderly manner toward Shinji's location in the distance. At this time, within the sight of dozens of awakened ship girls, a black figure appeared on the sea level. The huge waves were rising behind the figure. It was obvious that she was very fast. Aircraft carrier fleet, prepare to provide air cover. Nagato looked at the figure in the distance and said to Akagi beside him. Yes, Akagi nodded and released the red carrier-based aircraft first. On the side, Kaga, Saryufiru, and Shokakuzi Wikaku also followed Akagi without hesitation and released their carrier-based aircraft. In an instant, a swarm of carrier-based aircraft lifted into the sky in front of all the ship girls, and quickly pounced on the purifier who was approaching from far away. At this time, an arrogant voice sounded in the communication devices of the ship girls, ha ha ha, come on, fight, have a good fight with me. Hearing that crazy voice, the expressions of all the ship girls couldn't help but change. Akagi looked at the figure and couldn't help but whispered, is there a madman coming from Siren this time? Indeed, the first thing the purifier said when he saw everyone was to ask for a fight, and the fighting intent in the whole words was like a madman who only knows how to fight. Whether she is crazy or otherwise, now is the time to start attacking, Mikasa said with a frown. Yes, Nagato nodded, and the four cannons behind him gradually aligned themselves, aiming in the direction of the purifier. Combined fleet, crush the enemy. Yes. More than a dozen awakened ship girls around him responded one after another, and at this time, a red light radiated from Nagato's body and turned into a Magatama-like light. Then, the Magatama disintegrated into several pieces, and fell on the ship girl next to Nagato like stars scattered. And just after the red light fell, the ship uniforms on all the ship girls began to emit a faint red light, which was obviously blessed by some mysterious power. With the blessing of this kind of power, the fleet of carrier-based aircraft that had rushed to the purifier in the distance also had a layer of red light covering their aircraft. Hey, it looks like you are ready to attack. It's my turn next. The purifier, who was speeding on the sea, obviously saw this scene, but she didn't show the slightest panic. Instead, she was even more excited. The whole person jumped up on the shark suit, and the shark suit also flew up automatically, stopped steadily beside her, and followed her to fly high into the sky. As the ship's equipment changed, two devices similar to floating guns detached from the shark's equipment, and then rushed directly towards the attacking group of aircraft. This scene naturally fell into the eyes of Qin Ji on the command ship, and in the next scene, Qin Ji's face suddenly showed a blank expression. Because he saw inside the light curtain, the siren named Purifier actually used her shark ship-mounted main gun to blast at the group of aircraft, and what was blasted out was not the cannonballs, but several rays of light. These rays of light flew through the air at extremely fast speeds. As soon as Qin Ji saw the rays of light leaving the muzzle of the Purifier's ship, a series of aircraft were directly destroyed in the sky. Qin Ji looked at the scene and blurted out, "Laser main gun against the air? What kind of magic weapon is this? My ship girl, my world." Author, Huangming Ji. Chapter 290. Qin Ji was stunned, because in his impression, although each ship girl had her own special skills, they were still within the range of artillery shells and aircraft. Including Centaur airstrikes, several torpedo planes can be summoned out of thin air to assist in slowing down the attack. Another example is that several battleships can trigger barrage attacks with a probability when their main guns fire. But in general, all attacks are within the sequence of war. Even if they are a bit magical, Qin Ji can still accept them. But what appears before him now? Huifei's enemies, and laser weapons far ahead of his time. Because even though he comes from the world of the 21st century, the concept of laser weapons has already been proposed. And weapons such as electromagnetic guns have been developed and used for military purposes. But the performance of laser weapons on the battlefield is still a mystery to everyone. After all, they have not been officially put into service. But now, in another world, this magical world, he saw real laser weapons firing. And this was the first time I saw a laser weapon firing, and it wasn't just folded in half. The enemy actually fired at the plane in the sky, which was really jaw-dropping. Huh? Doesn't the world where the Lord lives have such weapons? Tiancheng looked at Qin Ji's reaction and asked with some confusion. Qin Ji shook his head. It's not that it doesn't exist, but it's still in the experimental stage. It will still be a long time before it can be put into actual service. So in this world, it is really surprising to see this kind of formed weapon system. The world where the commander lives, Shinano looked at Qin Ji, his sleepy eyes brightening. It seems that the commander's identity is also extraordinary. Yes, our Lord has a surprising identity, Magi said to Shinano with a smile. Well, because today's time is quite urgent, I haven't had time to explain it in detail to Shinano, but we are in war mode now. We will wait until this war is over and I will explain it to you when we get back, Qin Ji said to the letter Nong said. Well, I understand. It seems that my appearance is not accidental, but rather inevitable, Shinano smiled. 2. Let's start. Magi on the side smiled and pointed at the screen and said, causing Qin Ji and Shinano, who were about to chat, to retract their words and focus on the screen in front of them. Sure enough, as the Purifier destroyed most of the carrier-based aircraft, the expressions of several aircraft carrier ladies became solemn, and the remaining carrier-based aircraft began to fly scattered in an instant. And began to consciously form a parallel array, quickly attacking the Purifier. Accompanied by the sound of cannons, the carrier-based aircraft that first came into contact with the Purifiers had already engaged in a close-range aerial combat. But facing the cannon of the carrier-based aircraft, the Purifier didn't pay any attention. He just waved his hand and a suspended shield appeared in front of the Purifier. With the emergence of the shield, all the bullets hit the shield, and the Purifier in mid-air did not receive any damage. However, these carrier-based aircraft were more than just cannon attacks. Just as the Evolver's main guns were cooling down, a group of carrier-based aircraft suddenly accelerated and passed over the Purifier's head. Countless aerial bombs were thrown down, and those aerial bombs did not touch the ground, but exploded into a ball in mid-air. The purifier was also enveloped in these explosions, and the entire air turned into a ball of flame. Hit, in Chang'e's main formation in the distance, Ziwei looked doubtfully at the flames that exploded into a ball in the air. "It's a hit, but..." Kagami said softly, but the fighting spirit in his eyes became stronger and stronger. Under everyone's gaze, the flames were instantly blown away, and the purifier's figure emerged from the flames, but his whole body was unscathed. Moreover, on the shark suit behind it, the muzzle of the gun had been covered in purple again. The light shrouded. "Ah, it's so dangerous. If it weren't for the shield, I would definitely not be able to receive this blow. But now it's my turn to attack." A burst of laughter sounded on the ship girl's communication device. It was obviously the purifier floating in the air in the distance. And when these words fell, 6 purple rays of light suddenly shot out from her ship's suit, shooting in the direction of Zhe Chang'e's main formation. "Spread out and avoid the attack." Among the crowd, Kaosheng was the first to react. She said hurriedly, and then quickly ducked aside. The rest of the people also dispersed and left their previous positions. And just as everyone dispersed, a few rays of light instantly fell on the spot where everyone was standing. The water column splashed into the sky, and the huge attack wave stirred up the sea water next to it, causing the ship girls who had just escaped to cover their heads. When the water column fell, Nagato waved his hand, combined fleet, locked the enemy and fire. Boom! Boom! A series of gunshots rang out from Chang'e's main formation, and they rushed towards the purifier in mid-air at high speed. When the purifier saw this, he naturally did not stay in the air for long. Instead of evading in the air, he directly chose to fall to the sea. The 2 floating cannons beside him attacked while the main body evaded. At this time, the vanguard ship girls headed by Kaosheng accelerated their speed and moved towards the direction of the purifier. And on the way, they all took out their own weapons and maintained fire suppression. At this time, Qin Ji, who was on the command ship, saw this scene and his eyes flashed. "Are they preparing for hand-to-hand combat?" Probably. Magi nodded. In Chang'e, martial arts are very popular among ship girls, so most of the vanguard ship girls are masters in martial arts, especially martial arts masters represented by the Kaosheng class. Therefore, it is understandable that they choose to fight with close-range weapons when long-range firepower cannot be effective. Well, it can contain the enemy's attacks and create more output space for your main fleet. It can also disrupt the opponent's rhythm and make the opponent tired of dealing with it. Qin Ji nodded and said. "However, I'm afraid their plan will come to nothing," Shinano said while looking at the screen. "This is..." Qin Ji and Tiancheng looked at the rows of purple-red whirlpools that appeared behind the purifier and couldn't help but wonder. Just when they were surprised, Akage looked at this familiar scene and couldn't help but said fiercely, "Sure enough, the testers were able to do this trick before, and it seems that the purifiers can also do it. The vanguard fleet is ready to clean up the trash fish." Just when Akage's voice fell, laughter resounded in the communication device. "Ha ha ha, although I also like the idea of using less to fight more, but this time I have a task she assigned me, so the deal is called a helper, I guess. You don't mind either, do you?" As the purifier spoke, the rows of purple whirlpools began to rotate, and red and black siren mass-produced warships appeared in the whirlpools, slowly emerged from the whirlpools, and fell onto the sea. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 291. What is this? A space jump. Qin Ji was shocked when he saw the scene in front of him. The siren mass-produced warship seemed to be coming from another dimension, slowly passing through the purple-red whirlpool, and then fell to the sea and began to float. But Chongying's ship girl did not panic, but chose to face it very calmly and clean up quickly. This series of actions made Qin Ji very confused. Could it be that this technology has not appeared just once? It was a little hard for him to imagine, and he felt that he couldn't understand the world again. At first, when he came to this world, the sight of Siren mass-produced battleships made him think that the technological level of this world was very high. But as he went deeper into life, he discovered that the technological level of humans in this world was not high. The cutting-edge technology his own world possessed was not available in this world. However, on the other hand, the technology in this world was strangely high. That is the analysis of ship equipment and the production of ship equipment modules. It is difficult to imagine how the technology here is achieved. It is possible to reduce such a huge carrier-based aircraft to a palm-sized carrier-based aircraft core. And when you become the commander and see the various qualities of the ship girl, as well as the skills of the ship girl, Qin Ji thought that he had arrived in a world where technology and magic coexisted. Although these ship girls have their own world, the history and memories of the ships in World War II. But in essence, they are still different from the existence of battleships in their own world. At the very least, naval battles in this world seem very magical. However, the naval battle experience and naval battle tactics I learned in my own world are still useful in this world, and they are of great use. Because the strong strength of the ship girl will make many people not pay attention to the deduction and understanding of tactics. That's why Qin Ji received such good treatment after arriving here, and it also gave him the necessary conditions to expand his fleet. But now, after truly understanding the high-level sirens, he understood what kind of monster he and the ship girl were going to deal with. Laser weapons and floating cannons are theoretical weapons in our own world, but they have been realized in this world, and judging from the situation on the entire battlefield, they are very powerful. Moreover, after using the ship-mounted alienation construction, the appearance of the entire weapon looks very small, but it solves the problems of energy supply and continuous cooling. Although Qin Ji did not major in weapons design or physics, he understood that the force displayed by the opponent's siren was very powerful and exceeded his own understanding of war. However, it was only after the emergence of space-crossing technology that Qin Ji felt the pressure from technology. Space technology is a technology that humans only dream about. We are only a few theories away from a real breakthrough and have not yet put it into practice. But at this moment, I saw groups of siren mass-produced battleships emerging from the purple-red vortex. This feeling was no less than watching some science fiction movies. He is now absolutely sure that Siren has the ability to absolutely destroy all ship girls. Because, since they have space jump technology, they cannot drop these mass-produced warships next time, but drop bombs, large-yield bombs. Then not only the ship girls, but also the humans far inland of the mainland will be subject to such a huge threat. However, Qin Ji looked at the fighting figures in front of him and asked, "Why don't they do that?" The indifferent voice made Magi and Shinano look at Qin Ji. Magi glanced at Shinano, and then said to Qin Ji, "What did the Lord just say? Why not do that?" Qin Ji was awakened by Magi's words, looked at the confused eyes of Magi and Shinano, and said, "I was thinking about other things just now." "Oh, can you tell the two of us? The current battle situation is quite anxious, and there will definitely be no new progress in a short time." Tiancheng looked at the screen and smiled at Qin Ji. "Well, these are just some conjectures," Qin Ji said to Tiancheng. "Look, did the siren just use laser weapons? Moreover, floating cannons and other equipment are only in our world. It is a theoretical experimental stage and is still far away from actual service. Also, those purple-red whirlpools that just appeared in the sky, and those siren mass-produced battleships that emerged from the whirlpools. What if you think about turning those siren mass-produced battleships into large-yield bombs?" So after witnessing this battle, I feel more and more that the Sirens are planning something behind their backs, and their goal is definitely not to eliminate ship girls and humans, because if they want to eliminate ship girls and humans, they can directly do so in minutes. Eliminate it? Even though most humans are now inland, do you think the Sirens, who possess this kind of space folding technology, would be worried about the distance from the inland to the ocean? Looking at the people who were fighting, Tianchen nodded, his eyes became calm and deep. The Lord's observation is very detailed. He can even find such small directions, and he can also draw conjectures that are very close to the truth. Tianchen can feel honored to serve at the Lord's side. Ahem, actually, the senior leaders of several camps also know this, so in the mainland, they actually have a trading relationship with the Sirens. Hearing Tianchen's words, Qin Ji suddenly realized, are they all the 9 major camps? Not necessarily, at least as far as I know. Iron Blood, Northern United, and Chongying all have deals with Siren Magi said with narrowed eyes. Qin Ji thought of the ship uniforms of Taishui and Northern United, as well as the words of Shichsakura Akagi and Kaga, and couldn't help but nodded slightly. Actually, I feel that the Lord's previous guess was right. Tianchen looked at the screen in front of him and said, perhaps this world is originally an experimental field, or it can be said to be a goo breeding field. With the Sirens as our enemies, let us keep fighting, resisting, and strengthening ourselves. Then people who break the rules appear, and then they can jump out of the scope of this world and achieve the goals that the people behind the scenes want. Yes, Qin Ji nodded, just like what I said before. Take a look at the appearance of Siren's high-level humanoid, and then look at the ship girls fighting her. Do you think they are so similar? What if Siren and ship girl are really of the same lineage? Does that mean that we and Siren both have a common test? But what is this exam? What would an enemy be like that would give the Sirens with such high technology a headache, or in other words, an enemy that would force them to select the most powerful ship girls in such a low-level world? I don't know. I'm afraid we have to wait until there is an exceptional existence in this world, and then everything can be gradually sorted out, right? Tiancheng smiled. However, the Lord does not need to think so much now, because our strength has not reached such a level yet at this point. The top priority right now is to accumulate strength. Qin Ji looked at the fierce battle on the screen and couldn't help but nodded. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Mu Ji. Chapter 292. While Qin Ji and others were thinking about Siren's purpose, several other major camps also came to the outskirts of the fighting area from the shore to observe the battle. It seems that this purifier's combat ability is much stronger than that of the tester, Tirpitz said. Maybe, because the strength of their combat power has always been a mystery, and no one knows what their full strength is, Prince Eugen said at the side. Don't you Ironbloods have the most contact with them? Don't you all know that? Hood said with a smile, but his tone was full of teasing. Prince Eugen smiled and said, you can ask the Northern Alliance about this. After all, this meeting is about them. Faced with Prince Eugen's attitude of neither admitting nor denying, Hood frowned. In fact, everyone in the major camps knows that some of the camp's senior leaders must have a trading relationship with Siren. However, this is an open secret, and it is also a secret that cannot be told. You can talk about it when you are joking, but you must not mention it when it comes to serious matters. Because several major camps always stick to the front line and resist the attacks of the Sirens. If it is just a matter of transaction that leads to a thorough investigation and a falling out with other camps, then there is no need to establish as a lane. When Hood looked at the Northern Alliance, Soviet Rosia from the Northern Alliance shook her head. I don't know, although we have fought against the Siren many times, their strength is different every time. Sometimes they are strong, sometimes they are weak. What is their real strength? No one can know. In addition, don't say that your royal family doesn't know this information. As far as I know, among all the camps except Beiying and us, They have fought against your royal family and them more often, right? King George V said seriously, it is precisely because we have fought against them so many times that we are not so sure about their strength. Every time we show up, it's as if our actions are all expected by them. Their intensity every time is a little higher than what our fleet can fight, but they can be defeated with a little effort. But if it happens like this once and twice, it makes people doubt that they didn't use their full strength at all when confronting us, so we have always been curious about how powerful they are. Perhaps now I somewhat agree with what Commander Chin Ge said before, said the dragoon who was following Lit Oreo. Oh? What did that magical commander say before? Can you tell it so that we can listen? After all, we didn't participate in your previous opportunity. North Carolina, where White Eagle belongs, asked curiously. The dragoon glanced at Lit Oreo, and then Lit Oreo said to North Carolina, Commander Chin Ge made a very interesting assumption. He said that the current world is an examination room, and we have the ship girls in the camp are all students taking the exam, and the sirens are our teachers. They will ask some difficult questions to stimulate our strength, and they will also give us the opportunity to increase our strength through some transactions. And their goals are the same as ours, they are all to cope with the final exam, but no one can know what the exam content is. Interesting hypothesis. After hearing this, North Carolina said thoughtfully, it's a pity that Commander Chin Ge is not here. If he were here, I would like to ask him about this hypothesis. Hearing that the topic shifted to his commander, Guang Hui looked into the distance, and the command ship floating on the sea showed a trace of worry. Because the location of the command ship at that time was not too far away from the battlefield, if the siren launched a running attack, it would be completely within reach. Don't worry, Commander Chin Ge is under Chongying's guard. If anything happens, we can help, so just feel at ease. Anshan saw the scene and said to Guang Hui. But the distance between us is a bit too far, Guang Hui said worriedly. It's not far, it's only such a small distance, Zhang Chun said with a smile. Don't worry, Commander Chin Ge is our pride in Donghuang, so we will never allow him to make any mistakes, don't worry, Anshan said confidently. This. Guang Hui glanced at Anshan and Zhang Chun beside him in surprise. Although he was a little confused, he said nothing more. However, the Prince of Wales on the side seemed to have remembered something, so he said to Anshan in surprise, has that research been completed? It seems that Sister Yuxian has told you before. Anshan looked at the Prince of Wales and said, but I hope the Prince of Wales can keep it a secret for us. Tisk, no wonder Donghuang wants to send you out this time, I see. Then we really don't have to worry about Commander Chin Ge's safety. It's really not that far away, the Prince of Wales smiled, don't worry. Although I am a royal, she is a ship girl, but she is also the Dean of Donghuang Commander Academy, so there are some secrets that I know what to say and what not to say. Then thank you very much, Prince of Wales, Anshan said with a smile. Looking at the mysterious people playing riddles, Chin Ge's ship girls looked at each other. Among them, Prince Eugen, Bismarck and Veneto's eyes were particularly meaningful. Among the current ship girls, Donghuang has the smallest number of awakened ship girls, but she still occupies a position among the 9 camps. It seems that there are indeed some things in the Donghuang camp that have not been revealed. But what is it that makes even the Prince of Wales look so surprised? A few people guessed, but they all shook their heads, because the people in Anshan were originally destroyers, and the force that destroyers could match was too little. They couldn't guess it at the moment, so they could only save this doubt and wait to see the specific situation later. On the other side, the Siren mass-produced battleship summoned by the Purifier is naturally not that simple. Although everyone here is an awakened ship girl, it is still a bit difficult to deal with these so-called miscellaneous fish. Fortunately, the aircraft carrier fleet that had all its first batch of carrier-based aircraft destroyed has already taken off the second round of carrier-based aircraft groups. This time their target is these mass-produced warships. Obviously, they decided to clean up the mass-produced battleships first, and then concentrate their superior firepower to eliminate the purifiers. The overwhelming carrier-based aircraft group took off from the armor plate of the aircraft carrier fleet, and rushed towards the Siren mass-produced battleship with the red light on the aircraft. When they heard the roar of the engine, the Vanguard girls who were fighting the Siren mass-produced battleship retreated collectively. The rumbling sound that resounded throughout the sea instantly exploded, and the sky was filled with fire, and the Siren mass-produced battleships turned into wreckage.